Hello everyone, and welcome back to Triton-Cup. We are in our grand finals, and once again, it is I, Mad Gamer II, and once again joined by Weef.
Hello, I am super excited for this grand finals. If you are just tuning in, we're watching LSNN versus Oblivionion. Sorry. We just watched Oblivionion tear through losers bracket. They got knocked out pretty early on by the Hood, but have not dropped a game since, tearing through ASC Tenshi. A pickup under the name of Wahoo playing with their Worm, and just a few others just absolutely blazing through, and they have absolutely the momentum under their belt to make it a good grand finals here, coming up against LSNN, who is obviously our winner's side.
Yes, indeed, and we're going to be starting off on the Hagglefish market of zones. While this set is going to be counter pick, we are going to be starting off on the Hagglefish, and both of these teams have shown such strong performance on this map mode. I am curious to see how this is going to play out.
Yeah, like you said, I mean, this is a map where Crab is really strong. It can work, and funny poll. I have to reference anytime a pole map gets picked up here. But after we go to Hagglefish, it's going to be counter picks from there, which is going to be super interesting to see how these teams learn each other's comps, learn each other's matchups, and really try to pick something that they're confident on, but more importantly, maybe sometimes their enemy isn't comfortable on. So we'll see how that interacts with. But in terms of how Hagglefish is going to go, it's a map where mid isn't super comfortable. Once you get past mid, you can really get something cooking there. It's going to be interesting to see how this shakes out.
Yeah, absolutely. And as we are in grand finals, neither of these teams have shown any sort of a change in their comp so far, so I doubt we're going to be seeing any changes now. We did see some changes on the side of Tenchi in the last set in the losers bracket up against Oblivionion, but I doubt LSNN or Oblivionion is going to make any changes as of now.
Yeah, no, these teams, they've been swapping out maybe one weapon at a time, swapping out oh no, we're running a Splash Neo instead of a Vanilla Splash, that kind of thing. That's basically been the theme of the latter half of this tournament, is pretty aggressive comps. We've been seeing a lot of machines, we've been seeing a lot of splashes, like an occasional 52, which you might see from Synapse over there on the side of LSNN, but we're going to see, of course, the Tetras from Orion, as we've been seeing for so long from Oblivionion.
Wow, we see the first change for LSNN, a double splashing machine here, coming out here along with their 52 and giving no splashes in sight. This can be really interesting. They are going to be taking 2 off of Oblivionion in this first bout.
Yeah, that's going to be really interesting. No splashes, but more importantly, no crabs. A special that is incredibly important on this map, and already we're just seeing LSN kind of tear it up. Only one splash left on the field, coming right out of their crab tank. Going to be trying desperately to hold on any semblance of mid-control as their team, hopefully, to their, for them, filing in behind them to take mid. Already less than a minute in, and we see 50 points left on the clock.
Tetris trying to make some moves, but they do take down a couple of members, but not before they get taken down themselves. LSNN attempting to recap that zone, but the Crab is just pressuring them out. Oblivionion is going to be taking away 50 points they have to get in order to get that lead back, but so far that doesn't seem to be a problem for them.
Yeah, this can look extremely good in terms of Oblivionion being able to hold for a little while with the specials that their team has, but as I say that, they do get the zone taken out from under them. Orion, though, chasing this double, gonna get it, but it does go down into the trade, but that makes it a lot of room for their team as they go forward, but the bubble in the zone is gonna make it difficult to approach, as well as the machine just tossing out fizzies. Zone is still in the side of LSNN, but not for long as Oblivionion takes it once again.
Getting a nice pick. Tetris going in, but they are going to be taken down along with their bucket player. Booyah to come out and try to put some pressure on the zone, but it's not enough to really paint right now. It's just going to be a firefight, and the zone is going to be in stasis right now, but still Oblivionion in solid control of it. Well, I say that against Flip.
Yeah, we're getting commentators cursed pretty hard here in this set, and that bubble is actually going to be really powerful for holding here. It's going to allow them to stay in mid pretty safely, even as the specials go out, even as Oblivionion may start to pop crab tanks and stuff like that. 2 down, though, on the side of LSNN, which is going to create a lot of opening for the aggressive force of Oblivionion to move in. The 52 does have their whale out there ready, but without a team up to follow it, it might not prove to be super useful as Oblivionion goes into a pretty solid hold and are rapidly approaching LSNN's hard-earned lead.
Oh, but it's going to be 3 down. If that splash can survive, that is going to keep that wipe from happening, and they are going to be taking that back right before the lead is taken 1 point off. But now Oblivionion is already back and trying to contest the zone, taking down 2 members of LSNN.
Crab Tank putting so much pressure and pain onto the zone as Oblivionion does move in. Orion, once again, I feel like I talk about them a lot, but they just get so much value out of their Tetras, getting the doubles, getting the triples, getting just even trades are just making so much room for their team. And now Oblivionion is in LSNN's court under their tent, being very annoying and holding so long. The lead does swap in Oblivionion's favor as we are looking at a situation where LSNN is going to have to work really hard to regain control here.
Yeah, Orion is not afraid to take a 1v2 or even a 1v3, and that's just going to really keeping LSNN on their toes. We do see the zone flip in their favor for a bit, but now they're going to be cleaned up in the left side. There are 3 down, and Oblivionion taking the zone right back without too many points being lost there.
Yeah, even though the penalty is going to be there, that's not going to slow them down. They know they have the lead, and they know as long as they play their offense well, it doesn't matter if they don't KO as long as the other team isn't pushing. So here already we just see LSNN kind of force back. 20 points left on the clock and not too many specials on the board of LSNN that can help them get in. 10 points left. A whale is going to go out, and these teams are just going to have to throw themselves at the zone to try and paint it. It does get neutralized, which could be the last sign of life for them. The zone gets painted in the side of LSNN, and they have a second lease on life here.
2 members of Oblivionion are down, but the Tetris was one of them, but they will be back soon enough. Several of the bombs coming out. They're getting close to that crab tank there, but so far LSNN is doing a good job of holding on to the zone, being able to stay alive. They're actually going to have to dodge the Booyah Bomb and the splash coming out on the left side. 20 seconds on the clock, 30 points for LSNN to take the lead back. It is getting down to the wire.
But the zone gets painted. Any hope that LSNN had is going to slowly get squashed out as that it does end in a wipe. 5 seconds left on the board for LSNN to recoup. Does not look likely that they're going to get it, and Oblivionion does take game 1, maintaining their undefeated status in terms of not dropping games yet. We'll see if LSNN, as they get a counter pick, can try to change that.
I'm still very surprised by the double slosher pick. I mean, with this 52 and the junior, they did have the wall and the bubbler for quite a bit of staying power, and that seemed to be working a bit against their aggressive comp, the double crab and the Tetris, but they just seem to be a little bit overwhelmed without their own crab.
Yeah, they made it work for quite a while, and it was far from one-sided. But, I mean, that's just the power of crab tanks on this map. You get so much value out of them, and even if, all the other specials that were in that game were good, and especially, I mean, the power of the main weapon and the sub-weapon combination from the 52 are also fantastic, but the power of the crab cannot be stopped.
Indeed. Now we are going to be waiting for LSNN to make their counter pick. I'm very curious to see what map they're going to be choosing. We did see Hagglefish for this first one, and that is pretty strong for both the teams. So if Oblivionion comes out on top for this one, that is going to leave LSNN in already in a lower state than they were in previous matches, unless they have something sneaky up their sleeve.
Yeah, if you are, we're gonna go to Splat Zone's Mart. This is an interesting pick. I mean, it's basically just a super balanced stage that I can imagine LSNN just being super comfortable on, but I'm not really sure if it's gonna, be the saving grace that they think it was. We've seen Oblivionion come at Mart and take it out, I believe, twice now, and they've had a pretty dominant showing both times. The crab tanks are going to be really good. The Tetras are going to be able to flank extremely effectively here, so we'll see how this shakes out, or if, these players that are very, very good at the game know something that I don't.
Yeah, so far Oblivionion has shown twice now, as you said, just such a strong showing, and especially with the Tetris just coming in from that right side. Once they get in the base, it is hard to push them out, and that's just more points to their team. But as he said, maybe LSNN has something in mind that we are not ready for.
Yeah, we'll see how this goes. We'll see if there's a change in comp. Does not look like it from the side of Oblivionion. But on the side of LSNN, also nothing.
Still sticking with the double slosher. I am amazed. They clearly have a plan in mind.
Double slosher really isn't something we've seen since the very, very early days of Splatoon 3 meta, where we were seeing triple slosher comps sometimes. But I mean, it seems to be working so far. They do take first cap. Synapse over here on the right, going to be trying to get some picks on their stack, and unfortunately having to back out before getting picked. Orion going to go down. We're just seeing zone go back and forth here. LSNN though is taking a few more points here, and Oblivionion is losing players back and forth. It looks like they're having a hard time.
Oh, there's going to be 2 on Oblivionion down, and they weren't able to cap the zone completely, so LSNN is still getting raw points from their control of zone. They're trying to find a way to push up. We did see the Tetrarilies try to go in and cause some havoc, but now they are down along with their splash. 2 members down, so LSNN, they are making their way up. They are pushing Oblivionion back and not allowing them to get a solid foothold here.
Yeah, it seems these teams are, LSNN did know something I don't, and because they are just playing this extremely well, not even allowing Oblivionion to get back in, really. The crowd tank is going to come out, putting a lot of pressure on the zone, but the bubble is going to make sure that it doesn't affect the zone all that much. Synapse already pushing forward, and Oblivionion are 3 down. It just seems like a theme of this game. We have 20 points left, and it's only a minute and 30 in. That's going to be a wipeout, and Oblivionion is going to just have to throw themselves at the zone if they want a chance to take this out.
This was such an insane game. LSNN going 100-0, not allowing it to, or Oblivionion to touch the zone at all. Just such a dominant performance, and considering Oblivionion have not lost a game as of yet, that is an impressive feat.
Yeah, sheesh, that was the exact opposite of what we've been seeing. They are, proving exactly why they made it to the end of a winner's bracket here, with just how dominant that was. But we will see if the counter pick from the side of Oblivionion can swing things back around in their direction. Even though their loser streak has been broken, they still have an insane amount of momentum under their wings to carry them to victory if they play things right. And we're going to see Wahoo World Splat Zones. How interesting.
Indeed, this is the first time we're seeing Oblivionion make a counter pick, and I was going to say I'm curious to see what that is going to be in Wahoo World. That is certainly a strong zones map. Not necessarily the one I was thinking of first.
Yeah, once again, Pole City, not really going to be doing much in terms of how this game is going to play out, but I just think it's always fun to note. This is a map where, I mean, their crab tanks are going to do well, the sightlines in mid are going to do well. We've seen this map mode, I believe, once earlier in our commentary block, but I can't quite remember how it went or who was playing in it, but I just know that it was a big stallfest in mid for a while until one team got the upper hand and pushed forward into the player's court and kind of took it from there. So we'll see if it's a repeat of that or if we see something entirely different. Who knows?
As in addition to the crab dominance of this map, that Tetrarily is going to have so much room to play with in between the zone and spawn. There's going to be that huge gap where they're going to have to either take down the Tetris or just find a way to get them out of the way before they can touch the zone.
No comp changes, as to be expected. These teams know what works and are sticking with it. If it broke, don't fix it. So we'll see how this goes. Already we're seeing crabs being charged as LSNN just opts to go straight for the zone here, not stopping too much to paint along the way.
Orion already in the zone, but gets taken down before the trade there. A bucket on the one side, the crab coming out, and that's going to be Oblivionion with the retake there as they take down the 52 on top of that. There's still some LSNN up, but they are not able to catch the zone right now.
Machine causing a lot of trouble for the other team before going down. Oblivionion still maintaining their point control until I say it, and of course then it gets switched. But it is kind of what we did see earlier, where these teams are just big scrapping on mid. Only the crab tank left alive until they get picks. it's hard to see either of these teams getting a big, strong push here, but Orion on the Tetris going to be moving up pretty far here before getting taken out. Synapse on the right with the 52 using the wall and the whale to try to force an opening for their teammates before we just see Oblivionion continuing to hold on. Nova pop the bubble on the zone, which makes it a little bit more in their favor, but it's still anyone's game here. Neither team having super unshakable control.
Yeah, neither team has been able to really lock down the zone. I think that's what you mentioned earlier. It is going to be a bit scrappy in this first bit of the game. Just until one of the teams is able to find an opening to just completely lock it down. But now LSNN with 2 members down, it is not going to be their time yet.
Orion, we talk about them a lot, but that's just because they're a very notable player, goes behind and gets a pick, but that is going to be 3 down instead of Oblivionion. It seems like it was all for naught as just the players just kept going down, and that is going to be LSNN back in control and rapidly approaching Oblivionion's lead here. Only about 5 seconds left if they can maintain the control in the zone before the lead swaps again, but it's still never set in stone. These teams can always pull something out. We see a machine, I believe that's Phoenix on the right side, going at it, and that's the lead being swapped there. We'll see if they can continue to hold her, if it's going to be over pretty soon.
Crab does get popped, but that's the junior with their bubbler online, and they are not able to retake the zone, so LSNN has a good chance of keeping this for a good while longer. Bubbler does finally get popped on that bridge, and the bucket's just locking down that left glass, keeping that Tetris from being able to get in and cause any more havoc than they have. That is going to end up... No, the Tetris come out on top. They have 20 points left for LSNN, and that Tetris is really making its way towards that flank.
But Oblivionion has to basically throw everything at this zone here as the points are getting down to the wire. 2 down on LSNN, 3 down. That is going to be a wipeout, putting Oblivionion in a good spot to move forward. Orion is going to, you already know, they're going to go behind and cause some trouble. But on the side of LSNN, we see players trying to charge their specials, come at it patiently. They have time, they know that, and then they know if they rush in too fast, it could be disaster for them. But we see Tetris persisting behind them. You could be coming, pretty dangerous here. Oblivionion is stacking quite a few points on the board for themselves. Not looking super, super great as LSNN is struggling to get back in.
25 points, getting dangerously close to that lead, and not too far from that knockout either. The Booty Bomb does come out. They are so close. They are able to cap the zone before the lead is taken. And with 2 members on top of that, that's just going to allow LSNN to just really make a comeback, start making space for themselves. But just Oblivionion is not going to allow it to go down without a fight.
That does buy LSNN some more time here, but with Oblivionion 4 members up, specials being charged, this is going to be a tough hold to break for LSNN. We see them all up on the bats, throwing bombs, throwing fizzies, trying to charge some any of their specials. Whale does go out and just to attempt to dislodge the Tetris, but it's going to be difficult. Unfortunately, the Tetris does get taken out by Luke, but Booyah Bomb is going to be thrown at the zone. We're approaching, once again, really close to KO here. If LSNN can't cap the zone, it could be over real fast.
2 members down, but that's going to be the lead taken. They lose through their members, but now they have time to be able to make a regroup with the 1 point for Oblivionion and only 25 points. All they got to do is cap it once in the next 20 seconds and they can take this match.
Yeah, with this jump on the zone, I can imagine that's going to be camped, putting them a bit of disadvantage for this next team fight. Scattered on the plat, going to get taken out once again by Orion. That is going to be a wipeout, and with 10 seconds left in the game, it's hard to imagine LSNN being able to take this back here, and that's going to be the win, game 2, or well, the second win for Oblivionion in this game 3, leading, we're going to be on to match point for the rest of this.
Yeah, we mentioned it earlier, this was an excellent counter pick for Oblivionion. Not only did it allow such good space for their crafts to set up, but then it gave plenty of space for the Tetris to move in, and they did. They caused so much havoc on the back burner when they were in control of the zone, and they had several wipeouts on LSNN that just kept them in the lead for the majority of that second half.
Yeah, as the music gets more and more climactic, the set is getting more and more climactic. They go hand in hand, and we are, like you said, match point now. It is on LSNN to win this next game, and they're currently cooking up a counter pick that, if it's anything to go by, if they can make one that's similar to Mako Mart, they can definitely take this to a game 5. But first, they have to make that counter pick. They have to make sure it's a good one, and they have to win the game. Unless they, unless they really want to be out of those tournaments. So we'll see how this goes. Can't imagine these teams, I can't imagine much shaking these teams off the comps they've been running, but we'll see here.
Well, we've already seen Hagglefish, we've already seen Mako, and we've even seen Wahoo World. We are going to be getting into some of the more less commonly played maps, so that might be just the thing that will break them, but we'll have to see. We might be seeing another Spillway, we might see some Eel Tail, who knows? We are getting into some uncharted territory once again.
Yeah, I mean, no, I just certainly didn't expect the Wahoo World pick, but clearly it worked out in Oblivionion's favor. So, I mean, the counter pick advantage in this set is strong. These teams definitely know what maps work for them and what maps don't, so it's going to be interesting to see what we see pulled out here. I could see a museum. Oh, we see an Inkblot. It's going to be Inkblot spot zones, which coming from LSNN is an interesting choice.
That is going to give their double bucket some advantage. They have some pretty good ledge camping potential as it is the lowest point for the zone. But the Tetras is once again going to be a force to contend with. There's a lot of spaces for them to set up and just lock them out, stalling for so much time.
Yeah, Oblivionion also has those crabs, which if you set them up on the stack in mid can be a massive threat. You can place them on plat for even more pressure to back up your Tetras. And they also have a bucket of their own, so it's not going to be, the bucket advantage with that terrain is not going to be one-sided. I'm guessing you're going to see, I believe it's Luke running the bucket, take advantage of those, the terrain as well.
Yes, indeed. This is going to be an interesting match to play out. This is LSNN's opportunity to stay in the game, but if Oblivionion takes this next match, that's going to take it to a bracket reset for the Grand Finals match, and that's going to be a whole another 5 matches for LSNN to have to play through.
Oh yeah, it's always exciting. It's always hype to see a bracket reset. So personally, that's what I always hope for. I always want the underdog to win, just because you can see some more hype matches, especially with how these guys have been going. I'm hoping for it. I always hope for it, but we'll see. We will always see. Sometimes these teams completely catch us off guard with what we expect. They can be doing fantastic in one game and just completely flub it in the next. These teams, they haven't been stalling. I don't know. They've just been very close, but also they've proven that they're capable of creating some incredibly effective lockouts and snowbally games here. So we'll see how this goes. I say that a lot. We will see.
Double flash the bucket and Tetris once again. Double bucket, Junior and the 52. No changes. Once again, we are into our match point for Oblivionion.
Yeah, already we've been seeing what we've been seeing. A splash, always charging for a crab tank here. Going to be a massive boon in this first team fight to have that. Orion diving in, getting a pick before going down themselves. Already LSNN is in control, but with some crab tanks staring them down and some picks going out. Not going to last too long as Oblivionion take their first hold.
That is not good for LSNN with the 3 down so early. Oblivionion is going to be able to push up right up to their plat space, but they aren't able to get the 2 down, and it's going to give them an opening to push right back in as the Booyah Bomb comes out onto that zone, and now they are going to be able to just get a couple more picks and try to solidify their hold.
Yeah, 2 down on the side of Oblivionion, which means that LSNN looking sitting pretty nicely right now. They can push up, and they can also do what they're doing right now and waiting and charging specials to ensure that the hold that they do try to take is a strong one, and they don't go in too fast there without the support, the paint, the specials that they would need to make a solid hold. They do take the lead back here and are approaching more and more points, slowly approaching the 50-point mark. But it's still not over for Oblivionion. They are going to be approaching it. They are 2 down, but over here they're taking some team fights, getting a beautiful triple, and now a quad. That is going to be a wipeout, and things are looking really good for them.
Yes, indeed. Now Oblivionion back in control. That 50 points is nothing to sneeze at, but what we've seen so far, that is nothing for Oblivionion to come back from.
Yeah, these, you can't write these teams off, even if they're that an insane disadvantage. They can always take it back. Luke and, Luke is going to get taken out by Orion. Nova got pressured, but is still holding strong. And now these specials are going to be going out onto mid, and any hopes here. Oblivionion, further encroaching on their points, rapidly approaching a KO if LSNN does not act fast and get out of their plat here.
Down to 20 points remaining. They are getting dangerously close to that KO. LSNN is really going to have to pull something together if they want to flip this and keep it from going. They are able to get the zone back. That's going to buy them some more time. And with 3 members down, that is going to be such a huge opportunity for them to really set up hold. And already we see Luke and one of the other players trying to get up into their plat.
Yeah, getting set up properly onto their plat would be a absolutely huge feat and would buy them so much time in terms of holding control. And even if they go down, it just takes so long to get back out. But they do back out wisely, deciding to save their life. They have to play this patiently, but also just can't twiddle their thumbs. They do let the other team just kind of dive right into them, not taking too many risks on their own, which seems to be working out for them so far. They are going to go 2 down, though, meaning that it's going to look scary. It's only Nova on that junior back on the zone, and even though the junior can paint a lot, it can't paint the entire zone by themselves. So we are going to see Oblivionion take the zone yet again.
Yes, indeed. They have a pretty decent penalty to have to chew through, but with only the 7 points remaining, is putting LSNN on the chopping block here for that KO. Once again, they're going to have to retake the zone and then hold it for another 20 and 50 points.
Yeah, 20 points left on the penalty might seem like a lot, but you remember that these timers tick down more than once per second. It can go by extremely fast, so this is definitely not over. 10 seconds left on the clock, essentially, if LSNN cannot manage to paint it. These teams are throwing everything they have at it, but it's not going to be enough. Oblivionion is going to send us into a bracket reset here.
Even with the one match loss to LSNN, they are showing that they are still on their hot streak, and they are going to be taken to that bracket reset with the nice 3-1, be able to flip it before it goes to a Game 5.
Yeah, really, really exciting here. Bracket reset, exciting. Love to see it. Super exciting. I'm not processing it even. Bracket resets are always great to see. And we're gonna see what I believe we get a map mode to start out on. We're gonna get Spot Zone's Brinewater Strings out here. And we're gonna go into it real quick. Once again, don't think these teams I don't think anything could shake these teams off what they're running currently. But, I don't know, Brian, I just think the double splash that, Oblivionion has been running is going to give them a massive advantage with how big the sightlines are in this map and the Tetras. If you get a lockout on the stage, it's over. You can get such a strong one going if you play your cards right. And that's what Oblivion has been doing in all these games. So it's I would absolutely not count LSNN out. They have proven that they can definitely take games off of this team, but it's really favored for Oblivion, in my opinion.
Yeah, I have to agree with you that this is going to be a good advantage for Oblivionion from what we've seen for them so far. Once again, if the Tetras are able to give the Tetras any leeway, they will be pushing up into that spawn area, and at that point it's going to be incredibly difficult for LSNN to push back out.
Yeah. It's just, we've seen signups on that 52, and that 52 can be very powerful on this map in terms of just breaking out, but we will see how this goes as we go right into it. Game 1 of the bracket reset, and we see LSNN finally stop playing around. They trade out, Nepia trades out the bucket for the splash. They decide if you can't beat them, join them, and we'll see how that changes how things go here.
LSNN taking the first cap of the zone, but already Oblivionion is pushing up. They took down the 52, and they're going to take that zone right back. And as we said before, the Tetras, they are taking space with no holds barred. They are going to be taken down, but not before they bring LSNN down 3 players. This is already not looking good for them.
This is absolutely crazy here. Such a stronghold in so little time, but there is still plenty of time to make a comeback here. We're going to see specials coming out. Mook throwing out the Booyah Bomb, Bubble coming out, and I think I heard a crab take somewhere on the field. Not sure which team, or that was from Oblivionion, and tried to make it to where they can continue holding, but mid is going to be painted pretty yellow, but on both sides there is a big conflict. We're going to see a scrap in mid here once again as we kind of return to neutral here.
Yeah, it's just going back and forth, but once again, LSNN is down 3 players, and they have yet to retake that lead, and Oblivion doesn't have too many of the penalty points on their point value, and with them pushed so far into the base, that's going to allow them to get even more points onto their total and keep LSNN from being able to get back into the zone area.
That is an absolutely insane crab that just came out, which is going to really prevent LSNN from being able to move. We already see a few of them get picked off, and Nepia with their crab just wasn't able to make much of an impact on the field with where they were forced to pop it. 25 points left on the board for Oblivion until they KO, and things are looking pretty hairy. Picks coming out from the from Luke there on the sloshing machine, but is it going to be enough? Are they going to have even the time to rush towards the zone? Looking like no, and that is a very decisive game 1 of this bracket reset from Oblivionion.
After they were locked out like that, they just weren't even able to get back to the zone to even try to contest it. It just ticked down for the rest of that match with Oblivionion just really pushed up against them and not letting them get any space back.
Yeah, most of the maps in this game are just going to favor Oblivionion's playstyle so hard. That Tetris, alongside the splashes, I mean, there are Ryan is doing in part such an amazing job, in part due to their team enabling them in almost everything, being able to push up with them, being able to have the chip damage from the burst bombs and the pressure from the crabs. It's basically built to support them, and because of that, they are able to absolutely excel and push forward and cause so much chaos and get them the game wins.
Yes, absolutely. Now I am curious, we are in a bracket reset, but do the counter picks from the last set carry over, or do they have free reign of the map pool again?
I'm not quite sure. I wouldn't be surprised either way, but I guess we'll see with how these teams decide to choose their counter picks. If we see a Hagglefish again or a Mako Mart, like if we saw a Mako Mart again, then obviously that's a
right.
But I mean, LSNN is, based on how they played it the first time, that's the map that they want to be returning to. So if they can, I wouldn't doubt that they will. So we'll just wait to see. These teams are they're putting their brain cells together. We're scritching. They're scritching their chins, putting their thinking caps on, and just trying to scrape it out. Because right now, Oblivionion has so much steam, so much wind in their sails, and they just have to find a way to stop it.
Yeah, this is going to be a crucial pick for them here, and if it is still the limited map pool, we have several of the less less commonly used maps, so it's going to be some uncharted territory for at least both of these teams.
We can still see Museum. I think that's the only good one left. If we can still see Museum. We can still see Museum. We can we can see Flounder still. Undertow has not been picked. All the Double Zones maps are still uncharted territory because they play so different, and in my opinion, they play worse. It just depends. We'll see how it goes, but it's a challenge. You don't want to you don't want to make a sloppy counterpick that ends up putting you at a disadvantage. But also, you can't spend too long, or you start to confuse yourself. You start to lose your steam. You just kind of want to get back into it at some point.
Mm-hmm. And honestly, I feel like Museum would be a pick that would suit Oblivionion, but we are going to be going to Mako, so the old picks are do no longer apply. They are able to re-pick some of the same maps, and as we are back on Mako, we'll see if LSNN is able to bring the same play that they brought in the first set, or if Oblivionion will be just turning the tables here.
Yeah, it just basically depends on if they can keep LSNN can return to form and dominate on Mako Mart like they did last round. Hopefully that's what you want to see. You always want to see these teams go neck and neck. That's my personal passion, is seeing two teams just scrape it out and come down to the wire. But they were really, really strong last time. We're going to see also if they decide to switch off that splash they brought out and return to the double bucket based on the terrain of the stage, maybe the power of the Booyah Bomb that they see. There's a lot that could happen.
Yes, indeed, and I doubt we'll be seeing any changes of the comps, but again, it just have to be a bit of a mental shift, a playstyle shift, at least for Oblivionion, since they did lose out on the last one. Is that a... Hold on. Yes, that is a double bucket out of Oblivionion now.
Oh, I guess they saw the light. They saw their the appeal of the double bucket that LSNN ran on this map last time, and you know, this is also they had time to think about how LSNN won the last Mako Mart game so decisively and tried to counter it. So going double bucket is definitely an example of that, and already Oblivionion is playing a very different game here, already getting 3 down. Only Nepia left alive with their Booyah Bomb still intact, does get taken down. Oblivionion are set to have a very strong hold here. I see one of the members going back to try to paint for a special, but Orion is going the exact opposite way, going up and causing a lot of chaos so that LSNN cannot focus on the zone.
And we said it once, we've said it 1,000 times, letting the Tetras up in that base is gonna just distract them from that zone, and already Oblivionion is past the 50 mark. LSNN really has to bring something together to cap that zone and get out. They are able to bring it up to the zone, but still several specials are coming online for Oblivionion. They're gonna have to get the picks in order to retake the zone as well.
Yeah, that bubble pick, the bubble pop was pretty big, allowing them to safely do it. But in the breakfast of LSNN is Orion once again. Does get picked by Synapse over there, but as we move forward, it's still LSNN's game. They are making a comeback here. It seems 3 members are going to drop on the left side here, only to drop into the jaws of Synapse. Who takes the Tetra. Luke is over there also helping out, and things are starting to look scary for Oblivionion, as they're going to have to really, you know, coordinate and get a push going together if they want to maintain their lead, which is very, very rapidly being encroached on by LSNN.
We did see some even numbers, 2 members of each side down, but then they lost another one. They are so close to recapping that, but they lose still another couple of members, and that is going to be the lead going to LSNN. And with how low it was already at, that is going to be so close to getting the KO as well if they're able to hold on to this.
Yeah, 10 points left. 3 members down of Oblivionion. It's only Orion left, and I think they are respawning. Orion gets taken down to the machine, and that's going to be KO from LSNN, proving that Mako Mart is really just a map that they excel on. Call that a shopping spree from them.
Absolutely. They, once again, showing that they are comfortable and they are ready to play for this map, and they once again take down Oblivionion on the Mako Mart. That is going to bring them up to 1-1. Now, evening out. We have 3 more matches to go. We'll have to see if they're able to keep this up with the next counter pick from Oblivionion.
Yeah, you know, you can't go to Mako Mart again. At least Oblivionion got that out of the way. They're basically 1 assigned loss, but I mean, if they choose a counter pick poorly, the game could definitely go like that again. But, I mean, we saw last round that they went to Wahoo. I wouldn't be surprised if they went to Wahoo again. I wouldn't be surprised if they went to Hagglefish again, just treading old ground on what they know they can win against this team in. But that game, it did look a lot closer between the two. Oblivionion, as we saw, was able to get down to around 25 in their first push until LSNN decided to stop losing and just started winning. We see Wahoo World yet again.
This was the pick that they had last time. It looks like we are rehashing the bracket once again. We saw that Oblivionion were incredibly comfortable with choosing this map and were the ones that came out on top. So this is definitely an excellent choice for them. Now it'll be up to LSNN to change up their strategy going into this, unless they want to have a similar result as last time.
Yeah. We saw, I mean, this is one of the closer maps that they've had until Oblivionion managed to get a solid hold. It was a massive scrap fest in mid, and so if LSNN is able to win more of their team fights, is able to maybe use their specials more effectively, or is able to stop the lockout more, I could definitely see this. It's definitely not out of the cards for them to win on this map, unlike last time.
Yes, absolutely. And we did see the final comp change from either of these two teams. We saw the double bucket from the side of Oblivionion. It didn't quite work out in their favor, but the potential for LSNN to finally change up their comp as well is there is a good chance of that here.
I believe we saw them on the double bucket last time. It's going to be interesting to see if they return to double bucket or if they decide to bring out the splash once again, like we saw on Brinewater. But like I always say, why speculate when we can just see? We see the return to the double splash here from Oblivionion and the return to the double bucket from LSNN.
The tried and true, no changes here. Now it's just going to be up to LSNN to play a little bit, not play better, but just definitely they're going to have to watch out for what brought them down last time. They're going to have to change up their strategy and just find a way to overcome Oblivionion's stronghold on this. Yeah.
Already we see one member of Oblivionion go down, that's Tetris, but they, get a pick themselves. 2 down on the side of LSNN. The Junior and the Machine are going to be down, getting rid of a lot of the paint and forcing them to back up a little bit as members of Oblivionion are going to push forward here. Luke getting a pick before getting taken out themselves, and right now it's only Nova on the field with a special that can't really get them back out. The bubble can help hold, but it's not going to help you when your team is faced in a situation where it's a minute in and you already have the points left that Oblivion needs a KO.
The Tetras go down, the Booyah Bomb comes out, LSNN is rushing into the zone, but they are countered by a Booyah Bomb, taking out that Bubbler, and now they are down to 30 points. They have another Booyah Bomb in their play, but the Crab is going to try to counter that as well. Oblivionion is just trying to hold on to the zone, but it does flip to LSNN's favor.
That is exactly the kind of cap that they want to see, and off of that cap they are riding momentum, getting 3 down on the side of Oblivionion and moving up as fast as they can. We see Nepia trying to take the left side, reducing that entry route, and the rest crowding the right, which is the main route of entry on this map. People are going to be dropping from fast. People are going to be trying to get on that plow with everything they can. They're throwing a crab tank at it, but it isn't going to be quite enough. It is going to force LSNN to back up a little bit, but they still have such a solid control of the zone. There's going to be a slashing machine battle over there on the left with Phoenix popping the Booyah Bomb and making it so where, they just kind of have to back up. The zone is contested right now, but with that Junior on the zone, it's going to go right back into LSNN's favor, who is very, very quickly starting to encroach on the lead, and that is going to be the lead being swapped here. Oblivionion only has a bit more time to try to scrape something out of this before they get KO'd here.
10 points remaining, but with 2 members down, it is not looking good for them. I don't think there's enough time for them to bring it back. LSNN is going to be taking the KO, and just flipping the table. They are now 2 up over Oblivion.
And now Oblivionion is starting to sweat. It's that's going to be a match point, I believe, for LSNN here. They only have to take 1 more game to be your Triton-Cup 50 champions. And they also, this is not exactly what they expected. They took a bunch of very strong games before the bracket reset, and now they're starting to falter. LSNN is starting to warm up, starting to gain back the momentum from that long break they had between winners finals and grand finals being the winner's side. So we'll see how they respond, how Oblivionion takes another counterpick out after losing their counterpick. They have to do it again.
Yeah, winning the counterpick over Oblivionion was huge for LSNN because that'll set them up at match points. So even if they lose this next one, that just leaves the final match being their counterpick, and that can set them up for a map that maybe they are more comfortable with and possibly get them of advantage in that 5th game. But who knows? Maybe they're able to pull it off again and win the set in this next match.
Yeah. We've already seen Brinewater, we've already seen Mako, Mart, we've already seen Wahoo. We could definitely see Hagglefish being pulled out again. That is another map that Oblivionion knows that they are capable of winning against LSNN on. But it is also proving ground. They just lost against a map that they are apparently very comfortable on. So they might opt to go for something a bit more different. We could see something a bit more quirky. We could see something that we don't see every day, being the map pool is essentially open with this being zones only. So we'll just have to see how this goes here. Map mode can make a big difference, or it can make none at all. We'll just have to wait and see. It looks like we're going to Hagglefish.
Yes, we are indeed going back to the Hagglefish. It looks like they are still ready to play on turf that they are comfortable with. And we did see they did play rather strongly on this last one. it just once again it will fall to LSNN to kind of flip the script and bring out a better game.
Yeah, I'm wondering if once again we're gonna see maybe a I'm wondering once again if we're gonna see a what's it called, a comp change from this teams, if they might opt to run maybe one more bucket. I can't see it happening just because of how strong Crab is on this map, but that did happen last time in terms of like on Mako Mart, in terms of trying to analyze what we could do better and how we can ensure that we beat this team even though we lost against them.
Yeah, so far, like even LSNN, they were kept the exact same comp they've been running, and they were still able to come out on top on Wahoo World. So there's still a good chance that they won't change it up here. But even so, maybe they have something in mind to counter whatever Oblivionion has been throwing at them.
Yeah, we do see the return of the same comp, and these teams sticking with what they're comfortable with. You see this time and time again. Why if it ain't broken, don't fix it. So I mean, we'll see here already. We see once again classic charging Crab to try to take out this first winning team fight, but we'll see how this goes as we enter neutral game here. Tetris already get taken out.
It's kind of a fight here. Neither team has really had solid control, but with the pick on that bucket, the Crabs are going to be, well, I got them backwards. They did get the pick on the bucket, but LSNN got the first zone flip. Now it's just a fight as the Crabs have run out to try to take that back, but now with the bubbler online, LSNN is just going to solidify their hold over that zone.
Booyah Bomb does go out and tries to take something with it, and that is going to be 2 down on the side of LSNN, meaning that Oblivionion is going to be able to do what they do best and move real far forward. More picks on the way. Nebia over here with the Booyah Bomb does get it canceled, which is absolutely huge. Getting that special canceled can be massive, and Oblivionion does take that lead, but they still have a long way to go if they want to make sure this game is really in the bag.
As we saw in the last match, LSNN was able to bring it back even when Oblivionion brought it down to 30 points, so it is still not out of the question. LSNN has shown that they are doing good at being able to just hold back and build up their specials to make the push back in. So they have some patience in their pocket, but now they are down 2 once again, and they are out of specials except for that bubbler.
Yeah, and with that Crab Tank going down, that is going to ease some of the pressure on LSNN's plat. They are going to force Oblivionion to move back just a little bit, but this bubble is going to get taken down by the Tetras, making it so where they can't take too much advantage of it. They're still lurking in it a little bit, but this is 5 points left on the zone. The Booyah Bomb comes out, and that's going to be Oblivionion's very quick KO.
That is going to be 2-2 match point for either of these teams with the counter pick in LSNN's favor. They are certainly going to have to pick a map that they can really bring the best out of them against Oblivion, because Oblivion once again showing such a dominant performance on Hagglefish here.
Yeah, we are seeing it's game 5, it's bracket reset, everything is on the line. Whoever takes this is going to be Triton-Cup, your Triton-Cup 50 champions, and whoever loses this is going to go home with 2nd place. There is no more matches to be seen after this. It all comes down to this.
The pressure is on, and now both the teams are in this. They are sweating. This is coming down to the last match. They have to pull it out here, and it does come down to the pick that LSNN decides to choose.
Yeah, it's going to be massive. You're really, really sweating here. Both of these teams are going to be sweating going into this. There is a lot on the line, but especially the team that's making the counter pick. Like we said, a counter pick can make all the difference. The teams that have been making it, I mean, we saw LSNN take their counter pick by storm. They did take, Wahoo World was a counter pick chosen by Oblivionion, but did get taken by LSNN, but Hagglefish proved to be a great one as well, as they did win. But we'll see. LSNN, can they pull out lightning in the bottle like we've seen from them on Mako Mart, or will they, kind of struggle a bit as there's no more maps that kind of fit their playstyle just as neatly?
Yeah, it's certainly a good question. I can't think of anything off the top of my head that would suit them as well as they did in Mako Mart. The rest of it is, again, it's just uncharted territory, not as commonly used maps. There's certainly the double zone maps. We saw Brinewater Springs in the beginning of this set. Oblivionion, they took that pretty well, and so I don't think we're going to be seeing something similar from LSNN.
Yeah, it's going to be interesting. once again, these teams are not gonna deviate too far from the comps that they have been playing. They're gonna stick with what they're comfortable with. It may not be the time to do it in Grand Finals Bracket Reset Game 5 to try something new. So I think we're gonna see the double bucket, we're gonna see the junior, we're gonna see the 52, and we're gonna see the tetras, and we're gonna see just more buckets, more splashes. But now we do see our counter pick, and it's an interesting one. Flounder Heights spot zones.
That is very interesting. It is. It is a pretty decent map for Crab Tank, but I know Buckets, they certainly excel at this map mode.
We've seen it once before from Oblivionion, but I would not be surprised if we saw the double bucket be brought out yet again, just with how powerful it is. Kind of like Mako Mart, there's a lot of terrain to play around. There's a lot of spots where you can really do well. The Fizzies are going to be absolutely phenomenal at just capping the zone and make it just stalling it for so long, as this is a double zone map.
Yes, whichever team is able to take the lead in the last minute or so is going to have the advantage, because at that point, all they got to do is stall out. With the double zone, it is going to be much less difficult.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know. This could go either way. This is also Flounder Heights. If you are on defense, you're fighting an uphill battle to get out. And so if either of these teams gets a strong lockout, I could see it being over in an instant. But we are going to get into it really shortly here, see what these teams are running, see who is going to be our Triton-Cup 50 champions.
LSNN picked it, so they certainly have a plan in mind. We'll just have to see. They are bringing the Triton shoe from Oblivionion and as well from LSNN. No changes in this final of final matches.
We could, like we were talking about, see LSNN with their double buckets really take that to their advantage, but already we're seeing Synapse go into the pit and try to get some, things cooking in there. They do get the pick on Orion, which can be huge. That is what Tetris wants to do, is just go in and die, but getting that pick, getting them out of the way is certainly never a bad thing. But these zones are just not yet painted. Crab Tank's going out, but they're being pressured by the machines in LSNN Street, so it's really just a big stall fest out here, and any team that can get an advantage first is going to be able to take the zone.
Those sloshers have such a strong presence just from down low. They're able to stay safely away from the range of that crab while still putting pressure from that right side. And now with the buoy bump coming out, that's going to be the zone flip for LSNN, taking the first zone cap of the match.
Tetris once again goes down, but two members of LSNN are down themselves. They're going to get probably about to the 90-point line before getting stalled and eventually stopped here by Oblivionion, who are now in control. And they have they are already starting to push up. LSNN seems to be stuck on their ramp and in their street. That is going to be the lead being swapped. And with this Crab Tank going out, I don't see Oblivionion getting displaced anytime soon.
No, they have solid control of that zone right now, and they are even pushed up a little past it. LSNN is certainly going to have to make a strong play just to even get back into the zone area. We do see the Tetris finally get taken down and a buoy bomb popped. We'll see if it is enough. Bubbler on the first zone.
Yeah, solid play they needed and solid play they have. They do get two down on the side of Oblivionion, and with their well-timed specials, they are going to get back into control. And now the timer is ticking. We'll see if they're able to push back, push as far as Oblivionion did, or if they're just going to kind of be stuck in zone. The zone is stalled with the Crab Tank, looming over their heads. Orion is going to get a double and a triple. That's going to be, a full wipeout on the side of LSNN from Oblivionion, which is a very, very dangerous situation for LSNN to be in, as they are now forced onto defense, onto the uphill battle that Flounder Heights is now known for. It's going to be rough. They are going to have to pull out something pretty impressive here to take this back.
Yeah, you really have to watch out for those flanks. There's just so much area that you can't visibly see, especially when you're trying to defend from the one side. Orion just came around from the back and got that nice triple, and LSNN is going to have to just be aware moving forward for flanks like that. But now they are two down, and with the crab game popped, I could see them losing that zone once again.
I mean, notably though, out of that massive hold, Oblivionion did not gain any points. So LSNN did a fantastic job of mitigating Oblivionion's offense, and already they're taking down on the timer. They might not maintain enough zones for too long. I mean, though, with the picks that Synapse are getting, it's certainly not out of the question. But they did a good job at just stopping Oblivionion from progressing any further on that timer.
The juniors, the last one remaining, they're just trying to hold the zone, and they are able to keep it from Oblivionion's control. With just the bucket remaining, they are going to be able to kick through and take the lead back without any penalty points standing in their way.
Oh, and Orion gets a pick on Synapse there. 2 are down on the side of LSNN. They do still have the lead. They do still, right now, have control of the zone in terms of not getting a penalty applied to them. But with the machine getting their Booyah out, it might look like they are going to start to take down the timer yet again.
They're slowly pushing Oblivion back because the Booyah Bomb try to just zone them out, but they are not so deterred. The Crab Tank getting a nice pick. Tetra Julie's going down, but not before there's 2 down for LSNN. Once again, just a junior trying to control that bridge, keep them from capping both zones. And this is what the thing of the double zones is, that even if you have control of the one, you can't get points unless you have control of both.
Yeah, but control of both they do have, at least for a split second there. LSNN is going to go 2 down, 3 down there. It's only the machine left, or it's actually only Synapse on that 52 left in their streets fighting for their lives, and now they're going to be forced onto the uphill battle of defense once again. They are already pressing into the jail. The zone is neutralized. Oblivionion, notably, is not able to get any points on the board here. 30 seconds left on the clock for Oblivionion to pull something out. Can they do it? We will have to see.
Crabtrash trying to push them out, try and get another couple of picks. The 52 is down. That bubbler is ready to go. If they're able to get that and a Booyah Bomb, the Booyah Bomb is popped. Now all they got to do is tap the one zone for a couple more seconds, and that could be the game for LSNN. But now it is so hotly contested right now.
Oblivionion gonna get the game. If they can't maintain overtime, they are going to lose it. But LSNN is 2 down, 3 down. There's 1 point left on the board. They get the lead. Oblivionion is going to be our Triton-Cup 50 champions, taking it back in the very last moment.
That was so close. LSNN looked like they were going to be able to bring them back, but then they lost too many of their members to Oblivionion's attack, and then Oblivionion, all they had to do was sit back and paint that zone for the last couple of points. Such a good match.
Congratulations to Oblivionion, but it is harder to imagine a closer set there. Absolutely insane bracket reset. Game 5, down to the very last minute. A takeover in overtime. Phenomenal playing from both of these teams, but like we said, Oblivionion are going to be our champions. We saw them get knocked out early, get knocked out into losers, but they did not give up at any moment. They made it all the way through losers and all the way through grand finals, all the way through that bracket reset to get here where they are now.
Absolutely, such a good performance by them, taking on the losers bracket and not dropping a single game, only to come up against the LSNN in the grand finals and being able to come out on top. GG's to them, and then GG's to LSNN for coming in second. This was such a good set to watch.
Oh yeah, everything, all these sets were very, very good. Even the ones that were more of kind of blowouts were still incredibly entertaining, but that is going to be it from us from this amazing, amazing Triton-Cup 50. I mean, no better way to end such a big number on than a very close set. But, Imad, where can we find you?
Well, you can find me in all the usual places on Twitch, Twitter, YouTube, at IMakeGamerII. Once again, I am just neck deep in the Splatoon content. I am absolutely loving the game right now, with all its flaws. I'm sorry, no flaws whatsoever. But yes, where can the good people find you, Weef?
I am also in that deep in the content grind. You can find me in both Twitter and Twitch at WeefSlider, like we saw the special letter Ryan popped oh so frequently, but with a W at the beginning instead of an R. But also, I just want to thank Marjora, our fantastic streamer, for putting up with this for, 4 or so hours. Absolutely amazing. Does so much for this community. Thank a streamer, thank a TO today for all that they do for us.
Absolutely cracked.
Yeah. But like we said, that is going to be it from us. Thank you guys for sticking around to the very end of this very special Triton-Cup 50. So, that's going to be it from us. We will see you all next time for a tournament that is hopefully just as exciting.
Have a good evening, y'all.